You probably think betrayal is something that happens to other people, to strangers you read about in the news, or in some cheap Netflix drama where the husband's too dumb to see what's going on under his own roof. That's what I thought too. I was Ethan Miller, 32 years old, living in Austin, Texas. I had the picture-perfect life, man. A wife that my buddies envied, a best friend I could call a brother, and a decent career that paid enough for a downtown condo with a view. On Instagram, my life looked flawless. Sunday brunches with Jessica smiling across the table, date night posts with candlelit wine glasses, Ryan tagging me in throwback pictures from college with #brotherforlife. You see that kind of feed and you'd swear I had it all. But you don't realize how fragile that illusion is until one little crack splinters it and the whole damn thing shatters. For me, that crack came on a rainy Thursday night when Jessica left her phone charging by my side of the bed. Now, let me make something clear. I wasn't the snooping type. I wasn't the jealous, paranoid husband checking her phone, tracking her GPS, none of that. Jessica always joked that I trusted too much. "You'd never survive in New York, Ethan," she'd laugh. "You believe people are too good." And maybe she was right. But that night, lying there listening to the storm rattle the windows, the screen lit up. Just one little buzz. I don't know what pulled me. Curiosity, instinct, God himself trying to show me the truth. But I reached over. The lock screen glowed. Her password was my birthday. Cute, right? That detail almost broke me more than the message itself. Because what I read wasn't some innocent notification. No, it was Ryan, my best friend. "Miss you already," the message said. He has no idea. You ever feel your stomach drop so fast you can't breathe? Like your whole body's being swallowed into a black hole? That was me. At 12:47 a.m., my marriage, my friendship, my identity, they all crumbled with 10 damn words. I wish I could tell you I confronted her right then, that I woke her up and screamed the betrayal in her face. But I didn't. I lay there frozen, staring at her silhouette in the dim light, her soft breathing steady like she was the most innocent soul in the world. My wife, my best friend's secret lover. The same two people who toasted with me at my wedding swore loyalty in front of God and family. I felt like my skin didn't fit me anymore. Every breath hurt. I thought about all the little moments, the times Ryan covered for me, saying he'd hang with Jess while I worked late. The way Jessica laughed harder at his jokes than mine. A dozen red flags that I, the trusting idiot, painted green. My hand shook as I put her phone back. And in that silence, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't crying. I wasn't shouting. I wasn't even angry yet. I was numb. And numbness is dangerous because it leaves room for something colder to grow. The next few weeks were hell disguised as routine. Mornings, I kissed her cheek like nothing happened. At work, I joked with Ryan at lunch like my insides weren't bleeding. At night, I sat in the living room, scrolling through their hidden texts on a cloud I hacked into. Yeah, I figured out her iCloud login. Don't look at me like that. You'd have done the same if you smelled betrayal. And what I found wasn't just flirty messages. It was pictures, receipts for hotel rooms, whispered promises of a new life together, plans to get rid of me. That one hit different. Not kill me, no, but push me out, drain me dry in a divorce, take everything I worked for. My wife, the woman I bought roses for every anniversary, was planning to turn me into some broke, lonely joke of a man while she ran off with Ryan. Every night, I scrolled through evidence until my vision blurred. Some nights I drank. Some nights I just stared at the ceiling, imagining ways to make them feel the same fire eating me alive. That's when the idea of revenge crawled into my mind. And once it did, it never left. You see, revenge isn't just about payback. It's about balance. They tipped my life over, smashed it into pieces, and I wasn't about to just sweep it up and move on. Nah, I wanted them to choke on the shards. And I wasn't going to do it with fists or guns like some thug. No, I had something better. Gadgets, tech, the very same digital world they used to hide their filth. Jessica thought her private folder was safe. Ryan thought his encrypted apps made him untouchable. But I grew up coding. I knew my way around backdoors, VPNs, spyware. While they were tangled in bedsheets, I was tangled in code, tracing their lies, mapping their movements. My suffering became fuel. My pain sharpened into patience. And by the end of that month, I wasn't Ethan the husband anymore. I was Ethan the ghost, watching, recording, planning. They thought I was blind, but I was wide awake, setting the trap. And when the time was right, I swore they'd both learn one truth. You don't betray a man who has nothing left to lose. You ever sit in your own living room and feel like a stranger in your own damn house? That's what those weeks felt like. Jessica would be in the kitchen, humming to some Spotify playlist, pretending to be the perfect wife, while I sat on the couch staring at her reflection in the TV screen. To anyone else, we looked like a normal couple. But me? I saw every fake smile, every text she sent under the table when she thought I wasn't looking. Sometimes she'd laugh at her phone, then glance at me with this guilty flicker in her eyes. She thought she was clever. She thought I was clueless. And Ryan? That bastard still showed up like nothing was wrong. He'd slap me on the back, crack open a beer from my fridge, and say, "Man, you're lucky Jess puts up with you." Yeah, he'd sit on my damn couch, drinking my beer after sleeping with my wife. And you know what the sick part is? I smiled back. I played the part, because while they thought I was blind, I was already watching everything. I had her phone mirrored onto an old laptop in my office. Every text, every pic, every little dirty secret popped up in real time. I wasn't her husband anymore. I was the audience to her betrayal. Now, when you catch someone cheating, the first instinct is to scream, fight, maybe throw some punches. But that only gives them the power. That only makes you the crazy one while they play victim. Nah, I wasn't about to give them that satisfaction. I wanted control. I wanted precision. So I started turning my pain into a plan. First, I planted a hidden mic in Jessica's car, a tiny wireless bug disguised as a USB charger. She never suspected a thing. Every time she drove to yoga or to visit her mom, I heard everything. The way she giggled when Ryan called her babe. The way she trashed me, saying I was boring, too trusting, not ambitious enough. That one stung, but it fueled me. Then came the GPS tracker, slipped under her trunk, sending me her location in real time. I'd sit in my office with two monitors glowing in the dark. One screen with her live messages, the other with a blinking red dot on a map. When the dot landed at the Marriott downtown, I didn't need imagination to know what was happening. I had proof. Cold, digital proof. And proof was power. The more I uncovered, the more obsessed I became. Sleep? Forget it. My nights turned into a battlefield of glowing screens and whispered recordings. I rigged Ryan's email too, using a phishing link I disguised as a LinkedIn invite. Rookie mistake on his part. Within hours, I had access to his inbox, his cloud storage, even his calendar. And guess what? These two lovebirds weren't just sneaking around. They were planning a future without me. Bank transfers, secret accounts, documents for a condo lease under both their names. They were laying out my funeral in spreadsheets while I sat in the dark like some ghost hacker. The pain was unbearable, but I swallowed it. Every time Jessica kissed me goodnight, I pictured her with him. Every "I love you," she whispered was like acid on my skin. But instead of breaking me, it carved me into something sharper. I started recording everything: audio, screenshots, videos. I built a digital vault of betrayal, piece by piece. And as I stared at the files, I realized I wasn't just collecting evidence. I was building a weapon. But let me tell you something, they almost broke me. There were nights I sat on the floor of my office with a whiskey bottle, watching the recordings on loop, hating myself for being so blind. My chest felt like it was caving in. You ever feel so worthless that you question if you're even alive? That was me, night after night. Sometimes I'd stare at my reflection in the dark window, barely recognizing the man looking back. My wife was gone, my friend was gone, my life was a lie. I thought about ending it, not gonna lie. The thought crept in like a whisper. Just make it stop, Ethan. But then I'd hear their laughter in the recordings. Jessica calling him the real man. Ryan mocking me, saying I was too soft to ever find out. And that's when the fire came back. That's when I told myself, no, they don't get to win. I wasn't going to be the fool they left behind. I was going to be the storm that swallowed them whole. So I started moving from gathering to planning. Carefully, quietly, I created burner accounts, fake profiles, shadows of myself across the internet. I built a network of traps, automated leaks, timed to detonate when I chose. Ryan thought his emails were private. I had copies waiting to go public with one click. Jessica thought her DMs were safe. I had backups stored across 3 encrypted drives. I even set up a program to flood social media with evidence at the push of a button. No more guessing. No more paranoia. When the time was right, I'd drop a bomb so big they wouldn't just lose me. They'd lose everything. Their reputations, their careers, their shiny little future together. And as I sat there in the glow of my screens, headphones filled with their dirty whispers, I realized something chilling. I wasn't suffering anymore. I was becoming patient, calculated, dangerous. And you know what? I liked it. Because revenge, my friend, revenge tastes better when it's served ice cold. You ever feel the thrill of holding someone's fate in your hands without them even knowing it? That was me. By the time I hit the 3rd month of surveillance, I had enough dirt on Jessica and Ryan to burn them both to ash. But burning them quick wasn't the goal. Nah, that would have been too easy, too merciful. What I wanted was slow collapse. I wanted them to wake up one day and realize their entire world was built on quicksand, and I was the one shaking the ground. So I started small, real small, a mysterious text here, a forwarded email there. I sent Ryan a screenshot of one of his own emails from an anonymous number. Just the subject line, condo agreement draft. No explanation, no signature, nothing. The man panicked. You could tell from the way his tone shifted in the recordings. Did you tell anyone? He asked Jessica one night in her car. Her voice trembled. Of course not. It's just us. But her paranoia began right there. She didn't know if he was sloppy or if someone was watching. And me? I was in the shadows, smiling, sipping black coffee at 2 a.m., knowing I'd just made the first crack in their glass house. Then I turned the screws tighter. I spoofed an email from Ryan's boss, dropping hints about conflicts of interest and questionable personal use of company accounts. He worked in finance, where reputation is everything. So even a whisper of misconduct could wreck him. And it did. He showed up at Jessica's the next day, furious, accusing her of being careless, saying she must have let someone see his files. She swore she didn't, but the damage was done. They started fighting. Loud, ugly fights that bled through the mic I planted in her car. Meanwhile, I played both sides. A fake Facebook account messaged Jessica with, I know what you're doing. Does Ethan know? She deleted it, blocked the profile, but her hands were shaking in the video feed from her laptop camera. Yeah, I had that too. Every keystroke, every nervous glance in the reflection of her screen, it was all mine. They weren't just cheating anymore. They were unraveling. And I was the ghost pulling invisible wires. But the masterpiece? That came one Friday night. They thought they were clever, meeting at a fancy rooftop bar instead of the hotel. I watched the location ping on my tracker and slipped into my car like it was game night. I didn't walk in. I didn't need to. Instead, I airdropped a folder to Jessica's phone right there in the bar. The folder name? Memories. Inside, screenshots of her texts, voice clips of her giggles, even a photo of Ryan sneaking out of her house in the early morning. The look on her face, I saw it through the bar's outside window, her phone lighting up, her jaw going slack, eyes darting around the crowd. She whispered something to Ryan, and he froze too. They looked like two kids caught stealing candy, except the candy was me. And then I walked away. Didn't say a word, didn't show my face. Just left them with their fear, their paranoia, their guilty little secrets screaming back at them from a blown screen. I swear, driving home that night with the city lights blurring past my windshield, I felt alive for the first time in months. But don't get twisted, it wasn't just about scaring me. Here was only phase one. Next came isolation. I started feeding evidence to the people closest to him. Ryan's coworker got an anonymous envelope with screenshots of his shady money transfers. Jessica's mom? She received the USB in the mail with a folder labeled Truth. Inside, recordings of Jessica trashing her family while giggling with Ryan. Every move I made cut them off from another piece of her safety net. Friends stopped returning calls. Ryan's job put him on probation pending investigation. Jessica's mom refused to speak to her. They only had each other now, and even that bond was rotting with suspicion. Ryan accused her of leaking things. Jessica accused him of being careless. They were spiraling, clawing at each other while I sat in my office chair, headphones on, watching their world catch fire. And the best part? They still had no clue it was me. That's when I realized I wasn't just getting revenge. I was writing a damn symphony. Every click on my keyboard was a note. Every leak, every scare, every piece of evidence dropped at the perfect time was part of a masterpiece of destruction. I wasn't Ethan the husband anymore. I wasn't the victim, the fool, the guy left in the dark. I was the puppeteer, the ghost, the justice they never saw coming. And while they screamed at each other in parking lots, while Jessica smashed a wine glass in her kitchen during one of their fights, while Ryan begged his boss not to fire him, I sat in silence, headphones on, breathing slow, knowing this was only the middle of the game. Because trust me, my friend, the end was going to be biblical. You know that moment when you stop caring about subtlety and just want the whole damn truth to bleed out? That's where I was. I'd played Ghost long enough, pulling strings, watching them unravel. But the finale had to be explosive. It had to leave scars. So I built it like a digital doomsday machine. Every file, every screenshot, every audio clip I'd gathered over months. I packaged it into a neat little presentation. I called it The Truth About Jessica and Ryan. Professional, clean, brutal. I set up a timed release across multiple platforms. Emails to their coworkers, Dropbox links to their families, even a hidden YouTube channel that would auto-publish a video slideshow of their lives. The countdown was locked. Once it hit 0, there was no stopping it. But me? I wanted front row seats. I wanted to watch them choke on the truth before the world did. That's why I chose the dinner party. Jessica had invited me weeks earlier, one of those fake couple events with friends and neighbors. "It'll be good for us," she'd said, smiling like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. She had no idea she'd just sent me the perfect stage for their execution. That night, I wore my best suit. Clean shave, tie knotted tight. To anyone looking, I was just Ethan, the loyal husband showing up to support his wife. But inside, I was fire and steel. Ryan was there, of course, playing Mr. Charming, pouring drinks, cracking jokes. Jessica hovered near him like a moth to a flame, though she pretended to keep her distance for appearances. I watched them, calm, patient, letting them think the game was still theirs. Then, halfway through the night, I stood up, clinked my glass with a fork, and said, "I'd like to show you all something." Every head turned. Jessica's smile froze. Ryan's jaw clenched. I connected my laptop to the TV on the wall, and with one click, the slideshow began. Screens lit up with their texts. Can't wait to see you tonight, babe. He's clueless. You're the only one I want. Photos of Ryan sneaking out of my house at dawn. Audio clips of Jessica laughing, calling me too boring to notice. Gasps filled the room. People dropped their glasses. Jessica went pale. Ryan stammered something, but the evidence spoke louder than any lie they could spit out. The room exploded. Friends who once admired them were shouting, demanding answers. Jessica ran to unplug the laptop, but too late, the timed release triggered. Every phone in that room buzzed with emails, links, copies of the same evidence. Ryan's phone lit up with notifications from his boss, coworkers, clients, every last one of them seeing the truth unfold in real time. He went red, then white, then silent. Jessica dropped to her knees, crying, begging me to stop. Please, Ethan, please, we can fix this. But you can't fix betrayal. You can't unshatter trust. I looked down at her, tears streaming down her cheeks, makeup smearing, and I felt nothing. Not love, not pity, not hate. Just emptiness. Ryan tried to come at me, fists clenched, but two of our friends held him back. You did this, he screamed. Damn right I did. And for the first time since this nightmare began, I didn't feel like a victim. I felt like the man who finally took his life back. The fallout was immediate. Ryan's company terminated him within 48 hours. Word spread fast. Finance bros don't forgive dirty laundry. Jessica moved out of the house in shame, her mom refusing to take her in after hearing the recordings I sent. She texted me, called me, begged me to meet, but I never answered. Why would I? She chose her side a long time ago. Friends who once laughed with Ryan at barbecues now crossed the street to avoid him. Jessica, once the perfect social butterfly, became the woman everyone whispered about behind closed doors. Their shiny little future together? Gone. The condo lease canceled. Bank accounts frozen. Jobs lost. Reputation destroyed. And me? I walked away from it all. Sold the house, bought a loft downtown, started fresh. No baggage, no lies. Just freedom. And here's the part you need to understand you. Yeah, you listening right now? Revenge isn't about anger. It isn't about screaming or fists or even justice. It's about taking back control. It's about turning your suffering into strategy, your heartbreak into power. I didn't just ruin Jessica and Ryan. I rebuilt myself. I became stronger, sharper, unbreakable. People ask if I regret it. Hell no. Regret is for the weak. I gave them exactly what they earned, and I walked away clean. So if you take anything from my story, take this. Don't let betrayal make you small. Let it sharpen you. Let it make you dangerous. And when the time comes, don't just fight back. End it. Because in the end, when I closed that chapter of my life, I didn't just expose two liars. I became a storm that washed them away.